I watched a video this week, a UFC video, two different contestants, biography, young guys, talented. And they both said, as they got ready to get into the ring, their first UFC fight, and both of them unfortunately lost, they said, I trained for this moment. My whole life is for this moment. I'm 57. I've been a powerlifter, a strongman. I've trained for a career in law enforcement, for SWAT, working in a prison. But I never once said I trained for this moment. You know why? I said I trained for life. And this is the best motivational speech that you're going to find. A couple hours ago, I left the hospital after 4 hours. This is why this video is so important. Physical exercise, diet, sleep, all that nutritional preparedness, studying, prepares you for events. Now those guys, I wish them the best. Instead of saying I trained for this moment, maybe they should have said this moment is a stepping stone. It's a training block. Why are my eyes like this? Why do I look like this? I'm 57 years old. I'm Sergeant Beast Larson, retired. Call me Steve. Today's December the 13th. Yesterday I had a spinal tap to see about fluid in my spine. See if I had infection, meningitis, anything like that. To check the flow of the fluid in my spine. So I got a killer headache and my neck is really stiff. 4 days in the hospital is why I saw that on TV, and that's about the only thing I watched. Because I'm so light and sound sensitive. Dizzy, confusion, spinning, headache, migraine. The thin layer around the brain, called the dura mater, after all the tests, scans, CT scans, contrast, MRI of the brain, of the neck, all this stuff, guess what? My dura mater is thickened, which kind of isn't good. It's not supposed to be thickened. That puts pressure on the brain. And it can be a problem if untreated. So my next step, come home, make some phone calls. Now I told you it's December 13th. I got in with the brain specialist that deals with migraine in this. And my appointment is July the 9th. How wonderful I get to wait. 7 months living like this. It's okay. Why? Because I trained for life. I didn't train for the moment. Earlier this year in April, in March, let me back up. These migraines, 14 months have just been terrible, awful. RSV last year took 3 months to get over. Get over it and get the big, with double pneumonia. And I've had this 5 times since 2020. The SARS too. But back in March, all of a sudden legs start giving out, start falling. Go to a spine surgeon, see his PA on a Tuesday. Had spine surgery the next Friday. Got a cage and some screws L405. Now I contribute that to many years of heavy lifting, but maybe specifically that 700-pound yoke walk I did up in Columbus, Ohio in 2011. That was the beginning of that disc damage. Nothing wrong with working out, strongman powerlifting guys. Just be careful. Be careful. It's very competitive. There's so much pressure for 1 or 2 people to get sponsorships, to get money, to win, to get big. Thousands are trying for it and sacrificing themselves. Let's talk about goals. Goals in life. Training for strongman gave me the strength. We moved one day, more than once, but we were moving and had the beds apart, just had the box spring mattress on the floor. Had biggest U-Haul, 26 foot, I believe it was. And get up the next day, all the furniture's in the front room, ramp right to the front door. It was really close. I filled that all by myself as a strongman in 35 minutes. I didn't even use a dolly. The couch, the chair, recliner, sleeper couch, the metal frame, everything. I picked it up, put it on my shoulder, and walked out. strongman, powerlifter. But you know, I always had in mind that my goal was to live to be 100, so I did not train for one event. I didn't train for one day to be that big day. That big day was a test. It was a moment. Like I said, it was a building stone. Test of my success. Test of my mentally, physically putting everything together to become one. That's the training. Yeah, my head's killing me. Yeah, I feel kind of confused, and I waited and waited for a few months to make this video, and I felt today was the right day to make it. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. You don't know. I've been through migraine medicines that made me hallucinate, pull my skin off like a werewolf. Got Botox shots for migraine, didn't do anything. Made my forehead all freeze up from the shots. 5 right there. Migraine's out of control. When I had the spine surgery, he said, your career is over. Everything you've done is over. No more physical, nothing. You can't lift, twist, bend. You don't lift over 10 pounds. You're not going to do this the rest of your life. That's done. Folks, are you prepared for that? Well, mentally, I was mentally strong. And I not only prepared for this for my career, for myself, but for my family, my wife, my kids, grandkids. You know, she went through 5 foot surgeries from a nerve disease. I had to be strong for that. I had to be strong for her and the kids. I had to be ready to get everything, carry the load for that little bit of time, whatever it is. Major fixator on her foot, huge. You know, she got that fixator on, came out of surgery, did not turn in that medicine, did not take any pain medicine. Strength, training, that's her preparation for life. Preparation. Also spiritual. Because in that surgery, she died and saw Jesus. And he said, Sean, I'm not ready for you yet. She touched his robe. He said, I'm not ready for you yet, Sean. They shocked her and brought her back. She's back with me. She's strong. She didn't weight train, but she trained in other ways in her whole life. Mentally and spiritually more than people around me, more than anybody. Other surgeries came after that from this nerve disease. I was prepared for it. I was ready for it. Because I didn't just train for the moment. So I'm asking you, are you training for the moment? Are you training to live? Are you training for life? Besides having to go see the brain surgeon, I have to go back to my spine surgeon, or this brain specialist. All kinds of degeneration and damage and stuff and pain on the left side and nerves pinching because both of my hands are numb and tingly. Other part of my body is numb and tingly. And they told me this morning, the neurologist and the hospital doctor that I saw 3 days in a row, hey, this what you're feeling, this stuff going on is nerve damage in your neck. You got too much going on in there. You need to get some help right now. It's okay, I'm gonna get some help. And you know what, 57, I still got a ways to 100. But I gotta go, I'm gonna do it. Training for life. Are you training for life? Are you training for whatever comes? Are you training for whatever disasters come? Phone calls. I was working at the prison, and test of faith, test of working in prison. My son, I want to think he was about 9 or 10, maybe 11, get a phone call. I was assistant commander of the riot squad, tax squad, so I had a state phone. And he says, we've been in an accident. Mommy's laying on the sidewalk bleeding. I think her leg's broken, hung up. Now, if I just trained for that one moment, my first powerlifting meet that I set records in Ohio in bench and deadlift, I wouldn't have been ready for that phone call. If I'd have just trained for that second moment, that second contest in Indiana, again setting for my weight class and age, the bench and deadlift records. I competed with Sunlight Power. Dr. Daryl Ash from Chicago, he's retired. It's done and closed down now. He still had the gym, his children. if I trained for that moment in Indiana, I would have not been prepared for my wife calling me about 18 months ago and saying, honey, on my mammogram, they found a spot. We did some further testing as soon as possible, and it turned out it was just tissue. She had nursed our 3 children. It was tissue. It wasn't cancer. But would I have been ready for that if I only trained for the moment? No, I wouldn't have. What about the day I read a note that my 12-year-old daughter talked about hanging herself in a closet? Weightlifting training. My whole life didn't for that first moment in Ohio, that second moment in Indiana. All of this, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, together, you prepare. I wasn't ready for that moment, but I had an idea what to do, because I was preparing for everything to come in life, not just one thing. I could talk an hour. I'm not going to do that. I think you get the point of what I'm saying. I'm talking kind of soft because my head's killing me. Train for life, prepare for life, think about life, not just financial planning, but mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. All of those things. Money is money, but these other things is what's going to get you through it. You can't buy an answer for depression, for mental illness, for a child talking about suicide. Money doesn't pay for that. You can't prepare if you get a phone call that another daughter has been sexually assaulted. You can't prepare for that. You can't handle that with money. Money doesn't buy it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you really, really get the message that I'm saying. It's not just this moment. It's for life. So please don't say, I trained for this moment. Say, I trained hard. I'm glad I'm in this moment. I'm glad I'm in this moment, which will be a stepping stone and a personal test of my abilities. And then tomorrow, I will take today's results and build and grow from that. Build and grow from that. Sergeant Beast Larson, hit the like button. Give me a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me about that moments plural. Tell me how you've trained for life. Hit the subscribe button. See you soon.